Hello and welcome to episode 8 of our Timberborn 1.1 Iron Teeth playthrough here on the Timberpunk 2 map in hard mode, cycle 7, day 13. Got a little bit less than 9 days remaining in our current drought cycle. And we currently have a couple of things that we really should nail down before we get much further. Let's hit pause, gather our bearings, and figure out what we want to do in today's video. I got 7 of these inventor huts, and they are in fact all filled. Beaver's researching so that we can unlock some stuff. And I think we need to do the Numbercruncher. I think that needs to be the next big thing we unlock, even though it's 1500 science, and that's going to take a while to get. But if we can power it, which we mostly can, then that's going to really free up a bunch of stuff, and it's quick as well. So, obviously 1500 science is going to take a long time. But the other concern is having 100 gears. Not that big of a deal. We just have to, turn the gear factory back on. And then also 50 metal parts. We do have a stash of metal parts available. Up here there's 17, but we'd have to make some more. And that, of course, is done in the metalsmith, which we would have to also unlock. But we're not quite there yet. So let's zoom out and take a look at all these other things that are tempting us around the map. We have a lot of resources hidden in a lot of different places that we could find and make decent use of. And since it's a drought, there's not going to be too many better times to do that than right now. So I, in the Water Beavers playthrough that I was running the other day, somehow accidentally turned the tab thing on. I think that's this button. So now that I know that's a thing, well, we're going to lock that on so I don't have to hold down the tab key and then, scroll around. But I think it's going to be a smart idea to try and find as much of this stuff that's easily accessible as we possibly can. And there were a couple things you guys left in the comments that could be a good hint as well. I am going to scroll down to right about here. Yeah, we've got a bunch of metal. And this is a decent cave to have access to right now. The main issue being, being able to get through things. But I'm thinking, yeah, see right here, this connects across with all of these blockages. It would be a pretty Herculean task to get through here. But if we manage to do that, we do have some materials scattered around that would be useful. There's coffee over here, planks, water, etc., so on and so forth. But I think one of the most important things about this is it would give us some pretty easily usable passageways that are not going to be super infected with bad water unless something goes horribly, horribly wrong. So, we've got options, and there's also stairs on this end that go all the way up to this area that does have an aquifer right here, and even some fermented cassava. But, these are the kind of things that kind of require more than 30 beavers to pull off. And, of course, a whole lot of scrap metal harvesting. But if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, we're probably going to need to go through this anyway. So let's just keep this in mind and continue looking for other stuff. There's also, of course, this right here. Plenty of scrap metal. An interestingly designed area, of course, coffee beans and some canola as well. But this is a decent-sized underground area that we could use for something else that, again, not really going to get bad water in here unless something goes horribly, horribly, horribly wrong. Coming back up to the top of the crater, though, I do want to try and find ways to get some of these science things. A couple of you left comments saying, hey, there's a whole lot of science, you just have to go get it. And, while that's true, I will give you that. Some of these are kind of hard to get to. Remember, beavers can't go through the thorns. So it's really going to kind of depend on what we can easily access. I know we've got this relic here. I am going to mark that for demolition. But the beavers can't really get to it until we get a couple more of these trees cut down or removed, and we extend the paths. Right now, this is too far. But as soon as some of these trees start to get removed and we connect to, I don't know, maybe around here. There's not really a lot of room for me to get places outside of that. Point is, we'll get there. We'll get there. It's not going to be an overnight thing. Never was going to be, but it is always a good idea to take a look around. Stop and think. It's not a bad thing. This right here, that's not happening. for a long time because it's just got stuff all around it. But there's enough. There's enough in other spots we could get to it. Anyway, moving beyond that, one thing that was asked is, hey, do you want to get the materials back from this? Well, before we, get rid of all this, why don't we take a look and see what else we might want to do up here? And I know this isn't really easily accessible, but we already have a path coming up to here. And if we wanted to make use of anything in this general area, now would probably be the time to do it. But I don't think there's really anything happening here that is mission critical for us to access. Unless we wanted, an elevated walkway to get up to this general area, kind of a circuitous route. Just something to keep in mind. I'm not going to get rid of this yet. Well, we already have this path here. There's, you guys suggested a couple other easy ways to get up top that I maybe hadn't considered. This is still a very important thing for us to do. Not entirely sure the best way to approach this beyond just building ladders, which... That's another thing we have to unlock at 250 science, which I guess I could go ahead and do. I don't know. Decisions. This, of course, being built here so we can block off all the bad water that's going to eventually flood this as soon as we have more stuff unlocked over here. Remember, there's a lot of bad water sources in this that are dormant, and when these start popping off, it's going to be bad news if this is not sealed off. That was something that was impressed upon me with extreme severity. What else is on the list here? Well, I guess we might as well talk about farming. I'd said that I was going to try to remove all these things and just plant only corn so we could have the most efficient food setup possible. But you guys reminded me that having the variety is still a really important thing for nutrition. Gets us extra points. So probably we'll just need to keep some of the kohlrabi and some of the cassava going here. We're going to need to probably get more farmers. But another thing we really need to do is increase the amount of water that we're pumping and increase our storage capacity. One of the easier ways to do it is to build the aquifer here and get this connected, all this jazz, so on and so forth. But we really, really, really need to find alternate sources that are not tied to these geothermal engines, because these are going to go away when this thing goes off in, I forget what cycle it is. We've got 81 days, which that's a decent amount of time, but it's not forever. And part of the reason I liked up here was we did have a geothermal field. And, to my knowledge, there was, over here, there's a ancient aquifer drill. It's not going to be super crazy far away. And the way that this is set up, currently, we do have a natural dam, so this will hold a little bit of water before spilling off the side, and then, failing that, it will come down here and start flooding some of these things, and, it's never bad to have explosives available, theoretically. So getting this powered would not be a bad choice. It's going to require a little bit of, stringing some power along, but that's not going to be anything super, super bad. We do need to make sure that we're managing the amount of bad water that's coming through here. I don't know if this is going to overflow or not. We'll have to monitor it. And just rest assured, I've been thinking about this stuff, even if, it seems sometimes I really have no clue what I'm doing. While that is sometimes an accurate assessment, I am thinking about it. Alright, and it's been almost 10 minutes. We haven't really done too much, so I do want to jump right back in here. But I need to make sure, before I start, thank you, autosave, before I start pumping out of here to get this water fortified, I need to keep this stuff, especially these trees we're going to be cutting down, I need to keep this stuff irrigated as long as I can. And this is about a half right here, which means if I didn't pump at all, for the next 9 days, we'd still evaporate a lot of this. So, taking a look at our... I always click on the wrong thing. Blueberries, drought resistance in 9 days. Pine, drought resistance is 13. You might say, okay, well, yeah, the problem solved. Well, not really, because if these aren't watered, they're not growing. These right here have been replanted. They're going to be the ones that are going to grow up in the next couple of days. But... maybe it doesn't matter that much, because these are already not being picked out, and they're going to take 12 days to grow. Maybe I shouldn't be worried about it. Maybe I should just have this one pumping like I was thinking of doing. And just let that be what it's going to be. I don't think this is going to dry up in the next 9 days. If it does, we can splash it to try and save the corn. The corn has a drought resistance of 2 days. So we want to make sure we're on top of that. Anyway, let's unpause. Let them do what they got to do. Keep it moving and do what we can to keep these beavers safe. We don't need to have the stairs coming down here probably ever again. So while if I ever need to get down here, I'm going to be mad if I take these out. I'm just going to disconnect it. I don't think there's any reason for them to go down there anyway, but you never know. This thing here, this bad water source, right now is not really going to be that big of an issue. We could close it up if we really wanted to, but we'd need to spend science on overhangs, and honestly, the science to get this shut up would have to... It'd be almost as much as a Numbercruncher just to make that work. I think the Numbercruncher is going to be much better overall. Got this reserve tank of bad water that I wanted to kind of empty out. It's not really mission critical that we do that. Just thought that would be kind of a nice thing. There are, of course, other resources and stuff. I don't think I need to worry about trying to save this clean water here. Instead, we can just kind of, you know, dam this whole thing up so it flows somewhere else. But before we do that, we need to make sure it has somewhere else to go. And right now, that's not the case. There's not really any escape whatsoever. Now, when this unstable core goes off, that is going to connect all of these things and surprisingly not open up a hole anywhere else. But we have no way of knowing when this is going to go off. So we shouldn't treat that as a given thing. I don't want to reroute this to go over this way because that's going to flood a bunch of this with bad water. And we have a lot of aquifers here that we could do something with. And I don't want to spoil those if I don't have to. This is another area here with a bunch of dormant water sources that otherwise would not be a bad spot if we were able to actually, you know, corral all these things. Bad water seeps are very intentionally placed where you cannot enclose them, which is annoying, but, you know, that's also how this mod works. Map, not a mod. But, yeah, it's supposed to be hard. I will, for the time being, just because I think this desperately needs to happen, I'm going to get this lumberjack flag taken care of. We need to have these thorns removed so they can get through here and then get to the rest of this. And have this as, maybe not the perfect base, but some sort of something upstairs that we can rely on. Obviously, we want to get over here so we can utilize all of this quote-unquote free power. But I'm sure there's going to be all sorts of other things we have to contend with to keep this clean and safe. Which, yes, I do know that this is here. But that's going to open up a hole here. And to my knowledge, yeah, this bad water source right here is going to be it's going to be a problem. So, you know, we probably want to have one in the chamber as far as a bad water pressurizer for that, but we're not over there yet, so we're not going to waste time worrying about it. So, in case it wasn't abundantly clear from my 13.5 minutes of rambling at the beginning of this, we need to get the Numbercruncher as fast as we can, so we can get these beavers out of here. We need to get another aquifer over here so we can get more water for pumping and for irrigation, and we need to just start stockpiling this stuff, because we're going to be in for a world of hurt if we don't. So, what else can we reasonably do? I did start the process of getting 3 pairs of breeding pods kind of synchronized, and they're mostly good. We're going to get a pretty good population bump, which we're going to need for the workforce, but we really, really, really have to be sure we can support. We got our corn rations here. Those are really going to help, but part of the problem we're going to run into is storage, and we're going to need to, I guess, probably keep an eye on consumption versus production, and then scale that. Let's turn these off. But yeah, it's just lots to do, and I really don't want to spend any more science if it is not for the purpose of making a Numbercruncher. We do have medium tanks already unlocked. I've got one queued up to be built. In fact, it's almost done. And I don't think I want to put bad water in it. Now that I've, you know, taken a little bit of time to think about it, I think it would behoove us to just kind of migrate the bad water over to, say, here instead. So if I just go ahead and swap this, that will be not completely impossible. But we want the good water here. We want the good water close by. This is a non-issue. We might want it later. This has some nice clean water in it. 7% done there. Yeah, so just got to keep on keeping on. Slow and steady wins the race. Remember, this is not a speed run. I am going to try to be as deliberate as I possibly can to keep this as non-stupid as I possibly can. I appreciate your patience. Genuinely, those of you who have stuck with this. I think it's going to be worth the wait. So this, of course, not doing anything. That's totally fine. We now have storage that is rapidly filling up. We now have water storage available. We've got these guys going to work. Got 4 beavers working as haulers. Nobody is infected. Nobody is unwell. That is a very good thing. This is still dormant, yes. But it would not be a terrible idea sometime soon to put in a couple of levees here so that this would be pretty well safe. We don't have a lot of wood right now, so I'm trying to avoid that being a problem. Are these marked for cutting? They are. Very good. Probably could stand to have another beaver working on this, but we don't exactly have a ton of beavers in the first place. So let it be what it's got to be. I do have 2 beavers in the industrial lumber mill. I know that was a thing that some people had said needed to be fixed. Making metal blocks is going to be kind of a futile effort at this point because we don't have any more storage. So I'm going to save that by just hitting pause. Probably should go ahead and just build a pile for some metal. Unless I've got one that's empty near here. No, probably not. Small industrial pile. Remember, we don't have a ton of wood. But small industrial pile here, that is not the rotate key. Will not be a bad choice. Just need to have some extra storage. Okay, that can get picked up just fine. We might want to get another geothermal generator put in here, but I don't think I'm going to focus on that over, say, putting an aquifer pump here. So this only has to be done before the temperate cycle starts. We've got the materials to build this, minus the planks. That's not going to be an issue. So why don't we go ahead and commit to this right now? Pop that in there, let them get started. I know this is also one of the priorities for construction. This has already been connected. I need to mark all of this for cutting. Well, as much as I can, at least. We'll clean all the other stuff up later. I just need them to be able to get stuff out. I had this working, but they've gotten most of those. This remains probably our best method of getting trees. I'm going to let them plant these trees, even if this water is going to most likely stop irrigating at some point during this. The next thing that we're going to have to contend with is getting power over here, which is not going to be super expensive. Remember, we kind of had this figured out for a while. I just need power shafts that can go somewhere, and I'm going to have to probably, since, you know, this isn't really usable space right now, and it's going to be so much cheaper to just build straight across like this. So let that be what it's got to be. I suppose not going to do any harm just having one of these in. I could have put a, you know, a building here to transfer power, but I don't want to mess with that. I just want this to fill up as much nice, clean water as I possibly can so we can pump out of it. And then this is going to have to go probably above what we're working with here, routed appropriately. Not going to be super easy the way I have this set up. But we might as well, depending on how I want to do this. Yeah, see, that really probably should not have been there. To be perfectly honest with you. Maybe it would be better off. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's do this. Let's just run this through here. And not worry about... Well, might as well. Not going to be the end of the world. And I suppose we can just do a little tiny bit of suffering in exchange for having power routed places where we'll use it. I know in 80 days it's going to go away. Whatever. We need this now. Or now-ish. Would be ideally. I need to get the beavers down here. There's not currently, and there never was, but not currently an easy way to get down. So why don't we instead... Let's just put that there. And I know we're, again, using materials we don't necessarily have. Not the end of the world. This guy's got nothing to do because they can't reach because this is still being demolished. So why don't we... I don't think it's going to care if I... You know what? We got too much going on to be worried about picking and choosing where stuff gets removed. I'm just going to mark it. If they can get to it, they'll get to it. If they can't, then, well, oh well. Time goes... We still have to get things accomplished. Do I want to get the beaver over here? Yeah, you know what? This is arguably better because this is all pine trees. Yeah, you know, it's fine. Let them do what they gotta do. Remember that if this shows -3, it's not really -3, it just means there's not 3 beavers in the inventors. Science is still going up reasonably quickly. Just want to keep an eye on... Yeah, see, this is not going to be able to pump enough to really sustain completely, but it's going to keep us from running out. It'll slow it down enough. We need to be prepared as soon as the temperate cycle comes back to have a lot more beavers pumping, which I was hoping to do in conjunction with this. And because this is blocked off here, you know what? We are going to get some water over here that will be pumpable. This seems like the easy option to put a pump right next to it. Pretty accessible, even though it's kind of far away, I know. That'll be alright. Just have to be kind of careful how we have this set up. I know it's going to be tempting to get creative, but I don't want to get too creative. You know what I'm talking about. So, probably, I know we got these guys in here. That's very important that we have both actually able to be... this guy's still prioritizing cassava. We don't need that. Just got to keep things rolling. Got a whole storage of corn. This is still able to process stuff. That's good. Got metal storage. I don't really regret not having any beavers running in that, but I feel like I'm up against the 8-ball with wood. So that's going to help. This guy is working. They're going to get to this in extremely slow fashion. That's just how it is. But once that's done, they'll have access to some more trees. I do probably need to have them focus on doing these. I know they can't get to it until this is done. We'll get there. We'll get there. It's going to be alright. So, I'm afraid to do triple speed all the time on this. Because I feel like there's always going to be something that I'm going to miss, and I'm going to regret it severely. But, at this point, I think we've done about all we can do. No bad water in here. Water and water not really in here. This is, I guess they're hauling stuff out of there. Yeah, it's kind of a dumb thing. You know what? No. We don't need this. We don't need this. Let's just simplify it. Let's just simplify that. That in 14 days, we're not going to stop. We've already kind of, we've talked about that. It's going to be okay. Good news is this is basically done. Gears-wise, we do need to turn this on to make more gears, which, everything begets everything else. You just kind of have to let it happen. But we're working. We're doing our best. We're getting stuff done. Now, I know I unplanted all these kohlrabis. I kind of feel like I don't need to have that many of them. But I'm going to keep... I guess I'll keep these as kohlrabis. I know it's not what you want necessarily, but well-being really matters. It matters a lot. Okay, so there's our first little bit of dewatering. And remember what I told you, like, these are going to be supremely unwatered. Well, we got 5 days, not going to be the end of the world, and we might as well just keep pumping now because there's not going to be an appreciable difference in irrigation until it runs out of water. That's fine. We're down below 400, though. I don't necessarily want to start pumping a second one. But we definitely don't need replanting beaver because these aren't going to grow anyway. This is done. Fantastic. Too bad they can't get the rest of this finished a little bit quicker. But it is what it is. Let's check out up top. Okay, harvesting is good. This guy says he has nothing to do. Alright. These thorns are now priority number 1 for the builder beavers. Okay, we've got a couple injured beavers. We do still have the medical beds, so that's fine. These pieces of corn are going to die. That is unfortunate, but that's just the way it goes. This may actually end up evaporating within the next couple of days. We'll need to keep an eye on it, but I really just want to have this completed. I'm kind of afraid they're not going to be able to reach everything. But we'll see. We will see what happens. I probably don't need to have a beaver in here making more gears right now, since I've already built the thing that needs gears that I'm immediately concerned with, but I need to have at least 2, 3, 4, 5... and I have 7. I'll let them finish this one, and then I think I'll pause this. Get them over here, because remember, as soon as we have science, we're going to be in a pretty good spot to not have to have so many beavers doing this once we can research the Numbercruncher. We might want to replant these trees, but it's not going to be the biggest priority, I don't think. So I would love for them to come and get these cassavas, but I don't think that's going to make a huge difference. I still kind of want to redo this. But we're making good enough progress right now. I think we can feel mostly fine. This is about to dry up, so let's get a beaver in here. Oh, they're not going to... Oh, it's not going to drop before the end of the night. Maybe it will. No, I don't see it dropping, even though it just got filled up. Well, this is going to dry up overnight. Or if not, at the very beginning of the following day, and we're going to have to contend with that. But we already have water in there, so it should just be a matter of getting stuff popped in place. Now, I'm going to take... Yeah, see, there it goes. That just dried up. This... While it's not an issue at this exact moment in time, it is going to become a problem with expedience. All it takes is for another one of these to surprise open up while it's been, blocked off by all of these notifications. And then within a day or two, this is going to overtop, and that's going to be bad. So, they can still reach this, build this one and this one, which will, buy us a tiny bit of time. But we need to get this built up probably sooner rather than later, and that is going to require ladders. However, I feel like I'm probably justified in taking the gamble not to focus on this at this exact moment and instead try to, ensure food and water security. Now, did this guy get this done? Yes, and this beaver can get to a lot of these other trees, including these, which is helpful, but unfortunately I do need the rest of this accessible. I don't know, is this one marked? It is. Yeah, I'm going to have to just have them come up here and do this because a lot of stuff is hinging on this being available. And I kind of can't babysit this all the time. Alright, food is still looking okay. Most things are looking okay. Thank you, autosave. 6 days. I don't know why they haven't picked this stuff up yet. I'm not really that worried about it. Okay, the remaining stuff that needs to be built is probably mostly due to these stairs not being done. They can't reach this because of the thorns. I might as well just prioritize that. They're working on those. As long as this is connected at or before the start of cycle 8, I think we will be in okay shape. Okay, bad water's in here. That's good. Did this one get drained? Looks like it did. Alright, well, we'll just leave that alone. For now, I'm going to, even though there's no reason for them to go in here, I'm going to disconnect this path just in case someone has the bright idea to go commit stupidity. 10 days before that turns on. Once this is irrigated, it's just going to be so much better. We're making progress. Making progress. And I know there needs to be some effort made beyond what we're doing to, you know, have access to more of this up here, but I don't need to say it. You already know. You already know. Look at these guys go. They're making progress here. Slowly, but they are making progress. Yeah, that's going to take a little bit of time. Probably, if we have bored beavers, it's probably worth trying to straighten these paths out. I know I do see you guys commenting about that. Just have to have it be worth our while as much as we can. Okay, those are done. 2.5 days, that's about half full. That's okay to leave like that. This is waiting on what? Probably, yeah, planks. Well, we have planks. Okay, that's waiting on nothing, I guess. They're just working on that. Okay, we'll be fine. We will... Oh, somebody forgot to put in power shaft on top here. Okay, well, that's kind of important. I am sickeningly curious about this, though. Now that this is mostly okay... No, I'm not gonna change it yet. I need this to be moved, so just let that be what it's gotta be. Past 800. We are past the halfway point of the Numbercruncher goal, which is good. It's probably going to be coming upon us pretty soon to get some more metal parts. Because that is going to be more important. I know I said it, what, I have 13? 17 over here. And there's more elsewhere, but we're not going to get to those anytime soon. Decisions. This doesn't need to be done anymore. So got about half a day. We have not run out of water. That is a very important thing, to not run out of water. I feel like I gotta be doing something else. But ugh, you know how it goes. 74%. We have 4 injured beavers and we only have 3 beds, so why don't we right now just put another medical bed in so that they can do something. Okay, making it work down here. I think that should be okay. We got 1.4 days. That should be fine, honestly, for them to do what they gotta do. 100 planks is good. Numbercruncher requires 30. I'm gonna turn the gear workshop back on for this last day and probably pause the lumber mill. Try and force some more workers into other locations that we want them. This is still not done. It's almost done. So this is also the final day of the drought, so we need to be able to monitor. I want this to be accessible here, because then this guy can do a ton of stuff. Okay, let's take that off of the thing right there. Alright, this is still not accessible. I do want these to be taken out. And then I think once this is connected, this may be accessible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And maybe not. Might need to go a couple more. But now this guy has something to do. That is the important bit. And this beaver is just about finished whatever he can reach. So it's worthwhile having them up there. I think that's probably fine. Okay, how close are we to that being out? Closer than I thought, but it's less than a day. That, I think, is okay. Okay, new important construction is here, and then I've got these that have to be connected. I just didn't want to get anybody stuck. And then if this can be gone or working immediately, we'll be okay. This is a natural dam, so this is going to fill up first and then come into here. I should probably get a deep water pump going here, which also means it needs somewhere to put water, which logical thing to do is to just stick one of those there. I know there's a lot of stuff to build and I'm not necessarily equipped to get these guys going on it. We're trying. We're doing it. This guy is just about done with that. I've got one more I can pop in here. We within range? We're not. We are going to get there, though. Don't give up hope just yet. Yeah, just let them do that. This guy's done. These are harvested pretty nicely. Yeah, I feel like I just need these to keep going. That is in the process. This is connected and rotating here, which means I can put one more here. And then after that, it'll just be this last piece. Oh, no, this one too. Okay, well, I think this is fine. Leaving this like it is. I just need them to finish. Gonna have to keep an eye on these other things we're working on. But if we can do this before, surprise, we're staying late. I just need them to get this done. Alright, that is basically complete. Just do this last bit. I don't see anybody coming in. It's worth keeping them out just to have this immediately start, because you never know when you're going to have a super short temperate season. All right. Okay, this is carrying one log. They're going to finish this, or they're going to supply it, and then someone else is going to build it. Okay. Don't you dare go home until you're finished. You hear me? You hear me? Keep working. You absolute buffoon. That's very annoying. Oh well. What can you do? Also, this is out of water, which is regrettable. But this is going to immediately start, whatever. Bad tide drain in 3 days, which, see, look at that. Look at that go. Which one is this? Okay, that one. Alright, well, this is maybe going to become a problem. Somebody made a comment to the effect of, hey, you know, you can just, like, stop these by putting stuff in front of it. Not really. You have to have empty space. So we'd have to have, like, a cavern to close off. Which, you know, not impossible to do, but is going to require, one, being able to come in from above, which we cannot currently do, and two, having resources. Okay, so now we have this one that has just decided it's going to tell us what for. So we have 7 days. Easy enough for us to pop these in. It's only 4. That will be complete and total defense against this coming in this way. I'm not really that worried about that. Bringing this in here is fine. This has 7 days, so that's going to go off at the same time. Gonna be alright. So this is the unstable core that's showing for 7 days. There is another one that I now do not see. We already know this is at 72. I think there was another one on the other side of the map somewhere we hadn't gotten to yet. Well, let's get this moved along here. Is this in range yet? It is. So guess what? That's now a priority. Get me my 200 science, please, and thank you. And now this beaver, having successfully removed a lot of trees, is going to have access to even more trees. So please and thank you. Get to work. I know this is kind of far away and these are objectively not that important of trees to do, but we're still going to need them. Let's inspect this. Any of these? No. Okay. Now that I know... Ah. Okay, well this is something I hadn't been considering. This has probably, you know, been on for a really long time. Oh, that's not the spot I was looking at. Yeah, see, this is the one that I'm really concerned with. This bad water seep is going to be pretty easy to defeat once we get up there. It's actually not super far away. Come on, autosave. It'll be a little bit annoying to navigate through here, but that's not going to be impossible. The main danger here, of course, is this guy, which is not yet activated. Alright, so we'll keep that in our back pocket. Slowly filling up. This is pumping, which is good news. I think now I really just need to have these guys pumping all the time. And we are going to have more than 4 of these. But this right now is about the best we can do. Can I? Nope, that's going to block the door. All right. Yeah, I don't really have good access to anything else unless I were to put here. Oh, okay. You know, this also works. And then why don't I just put another one here? Yeah, okay. Okay. See, that'll help. That'll help. Not that we have the extra beavers to really run this stuff right now, but it's working. Okay, so bad water filling this up here. Eventually this is going to come through this way. We cannot dam this up because that's going to cause so many problems. But if we manage to remove this natural dam, which you know that would have been a great thing to do during that bad tide, so it'd flow through here. Let's right now pause this scavenger flag. We do not need anybody else coming down here, even though this is draining nicely. I'm going to go ahead and say this staircase here is going to be more of a liability than an asset. I'm going to remove it. You know what? Just come in here and clean this up so I don't have to worry about it. Okay, I've got 1,200 science. Does that mean we accrued? We did. Okay, very good. In terms of other kind of easily accessible science, there isn't really much without demolishing a bunch of these thorns. But getting us to 1,200 is good. That was an important step. It's actually almost 1,300, so if I just take these guys away from here for the time being to pump and to also do these other very important tasks, then I think that is going to be a smart thing. Have they begun work on this yet? Not really. They can't reach that, but they will. Won't be a problem. They just have to build this first. Focus remains on pumping and farming, though, for sure. Okay, this is flowing through here. That's going to be nicely irrigated. That's got still 7 days. Nobody's coming through here. That's fine. It's going down and out. There were at least a couple of you that were concerned about the volume of the cavern below handling all this bad water. It's not yet a problem. At some point it is absolutely going to be a problem, but right now that's not something we need to be hyper-focused about. Just trust the process. The capacity of this is, first of all, down here, I think is probably what matters more. These are flowing, well, this one isn't flowing yet, but this is still able to handle a decent bit of stuff. We just have to hope it doesn't surge and cause like a rolling wave through these tunnels here. It hasn't, it's gotten close, but it hasn't completely filled up yet. I know this is kind of like a relief thing, and this is going to back up through here if it is going to do any of that, but right now I think we're fine. Just have to keep our wits about us. That's still working, that's still working. That's 6 days. This is already done. This is going to be next. I think that's fine. Well, we're at net 0 now, so no, that's fine. Okay, 1384. I'm going to go ahead and get this metalsmith unlocked. It's kind of painful that I have to spend science on this, but is what it is. Let's put... I'm not going to put that there. Do I want to put this here? I don't really have a better spot for it. I'm going to... No, that's not that button. I wanted to press F, not G. There we go. I'll just put this here. Is this the best spot for this? Yeah, probably not. But putting this here is going to allow me to utilize kind of shared-ish space for scrap metal that I guess I didn't have to do this way. But I don't think we actually have scrap metal storage. We don't. Okay. Well, that was, I guess, always something that was going to be necessary. See, this and this will be a thing. They're not super important right now. This is still very important, but if this isn't filling up, thank you, autosave, extremely fast, which, okay, we got like a block and a third. Oh... Alright, let's, okay, so that actually would fill up pretty fast. I hate using science for... See, this is... Look, I know there's no logical reason why I should dislike the Numbercruncher just because it takes a lot of science. We're going to spend it anyway, but man, it sucks to have 1,500 science that early for one thing when there's so many other problems you could solve with the little chunks. I'm going to have the stupid ladders. It has to go here, too. That's the part that's the most annoying, is it takes so many resources to get up and do this. But, you know, once we do go up, it's not going to be that bad to get up here. I don't know, man. It's a lot to do at once. It is a lot to do all at once. I'm going to pause that lumberjack flag. Thank you, game, for actually pausing. Yeah, I don't have the 100. I don't have the 100 gears anyway. Who cares? All right. Let's just do it. This is going to save me 4 logs putting it up on a platform, and I don't really need to have a ladder here, but I guess it technically saves me some... Yeah, okay, whatever. Let's just do that. How many days do I have? 6 days still. Alright. I know these need to be... Oh, this is so important, but I need this. Okay, alright. This is now the most important thing, I suppose. Now, the most important thing. This is all looking fine. Food is still looking okay. Kohlrabi is not necessarily... Cassava is not necessarily, but... We are working on it. We are working on it. Yeah, see, I already have this built. And I know if I have to build it back up here again, I'm going to be kind of irritated about it. But, to be perfectly honest with you, I kind of feel like, I should leave this alone. What about... This guy doing anything? Well, I have the extra beaver anyway. I shouldn't be complaining. I know I don't want to spend the science on a builder's hut. I know that seems insane, probably. Like, well, of course, we should want more beavers, but... I'm just gonna let it be what it's gonna be. Alright, this is gonna stress me out. Let's just let this do what it's gotta do. One of these extra beavers is going to go and work in this deep water pump for sure. Full of corn storage. Cassava, if it's actually going to be harvested, would be nice. Okay, so the draw is actually 1090. What's it cost to build another one of these? Okay, I need to build this before I worry about putting another geothermal engine in. I probably can just let cassava accrue, save a little bit of power. This is already paused. I need to have gears. Need to have gears. This is not even close. Now I have all these extra beavers, man. Do I dare put them in the haulers? I'm going to put 2 more because I know when these finish, I'm going to need that. Oh. Okay, what's our pace on the doomsday scale here? Oh, this is critical. Let's actually see how fast it's going. Okay, it's going fast enough for me to see it. That's a problem. Okay, we have reached almost the point where it's going to overflow, but I fear the point where it's going to overflow is... Did I get lost again? No. I got completely turned around. How did that happen? Where's the crater anyway? Am I looking in the wrong spot? Oh, it's buried, that's why. Because I need the water too. This is very pumpable though. Pay no attention to the fact that this natural dam is kind of in the way, and we probably should get rid of it, but we can always build pumps if we have to. 4 days. Need to be concerned about this as well, which has not been finished. Water level here is going to be an issue. Can't get over through the back way. It's going to have to come this way. But they can access both of these. Oh, so many things to take care of at once. I guess I shouldn't really be that stressed out about it. I just need these guys to do everything all at once. Which, that's not the ideal solution, I know. Okay, this is full enough, and it's day 4, which means we're going to be, possibly in day 5, get one of those drought or bad tide warnings. I would love it if it were another drought, which of course means it's going to be a bad time, because that's always how this goes. Well, at least we're getting closer here. If this is higher, which it doesn't look like it is. So maybe I'm panicking for nothing. Maybe this isn't an issue yet, but I know when it is an issue, then we're going to be in some deep stuff. Okay, bad water, drought, and unstable core are going to go off at the exact same time. And this is now full, so let's pause that. It'll get more power into this, which kind of doesn't really need. Now that this is... Oh, they're already working on it. Okay, I guess I didn't need to be that worried about it after all. This, by the way, is a paused levee that I put here to eventually defend against this thing, which is going to go off in 6 to 8 days. All right, they're working. I mean, they are diligently working to get this done, so we can feel good about that. 3 days, 3 days, 3 days. What about up here? Still getting wood. I do have the extra beavers, so I shouldn't really feel bad about it. Do I want to try and make another area up here? I don't think I want to mess with that right now. I really don't think I want to mess with that right now. Let's just see if there's going to be any nasty surprises beyond these bad tide drains that are going to come through here. Doesn't seem like it. Those are both active. We know that this can spill over, and we don't want to necessarily flood this, but it doesn't go anywhere else besides where we have the planks and the explosives. A little bit of scrap metal. So that's, yeah, that's okay. We probably should empty that out beforehand. Yeah, in terms of, doing anything else up above the crater, I don't think we're really in a fantastic spot. I would love to get this completely blocked off. That would be fantastic. But I think we're still quite far away from that. They haven't even built this yet because we've been so focused on everything else. Well, and it is going to be a drought, so, maybe this isn't going to be bad. I know it's probably super annoying watching me go back and forth on this, but I think it's probably safe to say in the next 2.7 days that's not going to be a huge problem, and even if it is, this is enough for right now. I have to, reclaim a little bit of sanity to my priority order. Just leave that alone. Since we know now that this is going to be a problem, let's, block that off. Get that finished. Numbercruncher during the drought is going to be fine because fine enough because we're not going to have 800 HP worth of demand from 2 aquifer drills going. But we definitely want this to be as filled up as possible so we can keep pumping. Getting this removed, actually, I forgot I already had. Yeah, let's just do that so they can draw from all this. These guys all had this queued up this long, even though this is no longer a super priority job. Well, I hope they're not going to spend all their time doing that. I think stuff's okay. This is... How are they coming through this way? This is too far. Okay, well, I guess I shouldn't complain about that. These are still going. I've got plenty of berries, although I probably should be harvesting more of these. The other issue we're going to run into is these droughts are just going to get longer and longer and longer. Remember that the maximum length is, 29 or 30 days? And without doing some more irrigation somewhere else, these are not going to survive that long. Let's get... Yeah, you know what? I really should have done this earlier. Let's just get more of these berries harvested, if we can. Just put another one of these in here, because I've got all these extra beavers I'm not doing anything with because so many things are paused. Power-wise, we know this is going to be okay. Just want to focus on getting more water in. We've got 2.3 days. This is almost full. This is getting there. Yeah, let's just leave that turned on. This is waiting on what? I can't click on this? Okay, it's done. It just needs to be finished. I know that sounds insane. It's done. It just needs to be finished. Are they still working on this? Hopefully not. It says too far. That's fine. They have to build that. Yeah, this is really the only mission critical thing right here before another drought, but I would love to have this done. We have almost enough science to research the, what do you call it? So Yeah, we're going to want those gears sooner rather than later. In fact, I probably should go ahead and have another... should I really build another gear workshop? Well, as soon as the drought starts, I won't need power to here, which means I could remove this power shaft, put another gear thing there. Not be any worse for wear. We already have that storage. We still have not done that, which I guess is what it is, but just want to be as prepared as we can. Let's pause this again, because that's going to overtop. This is getting there. This has not been demolished yet. That's not really a huge issue right now. This is going to dry out, but it's not going to be an issue at all, because this is fine. I do think I want to keep this separated, because as soon as we drain all the water for pumping from here, then we can just keep this area populated so it can be all irrigated. We're probably going to want to do something similar over here. Although I'm not exactly sure where would be the best place. I also don't know if I want to put a bunch of stuff in here, because that's going to use a whole lot of water. Replanting is good. I already talked about having to get berries. Well-being wise, yeah. Would really love to have some other buildings, but getting the science done for the Numbercruncher, assuming we can actually build the stupid thing, is really going to help us out a lot long term. Just have to be able to do it. 1.7 days. Did they finish this? They did, thankfully. One of these beers is going to work in here. I can't believe how long it's taken to do. Alright. This one's operating. That's good. This one is probably next, which I guess is a very, very good thing for us to get finished before the drought comes in. I mean, everything else is looking okay. It's just not great. I just need them to focus on this. I know I have extra beavers. I know. I know. I'm going to go up to 10 and deprioritize it. That just seems like the best thing to do. So I don't have to worry about that again. Yeah, this, the amount of flow... okay, it's going to start during a drought, which does give us a little bit more time. But I'm still kind of concerned about the amount that's going to come out of this. Alright, okay, what else can I reasonably do? I don't think it's much. But there's going to have to be something I can do. I've got cassava that is ready to go. I'm not going to turn this on until the drought starts. Alright, let's just triple speed it. Let's just get on with it, right? Yeah, we still haven't made a lot of progress up here. We will get there. The long droughts, you know, aside from the whole horribly bad for the plants and for our drinking water situation deal, long droughts actually work in our favor for reclaiming space up here. It's just a matter of how we can effectively utilize our time and our resources. So, turn that one back on. I am going to try probably to pause these immediately, depending on how long this drought's going to be, and it could start being pretty long, folks. Okay, this is now overfilling. I don't think it's that big of a deal that this is overfilling, because it's going to also kind of fill some of this up. No, maybe? Well, I will pause this until the nightfall, and then that'll hopefully help a little bit. Alright, we are out of planks, because I've been using them, and I've been turning them into gears, so I'm going to have to turn this back on. I was trying to, you know, avoid having this running at all times. A delicate balancing act. Okay, they're still working on this. This is not a huge important thing. Let's deprioritize it so we don't put any more resources into it. Okay, we're filling this up now as a remote storage. I guess that's fine. That means we've filled up all of these. Yes, and that's got bad water in it. That could maybe be moved somewhere else. We do have the science to unlock the Numbercruncher. We don't have the materials to build the Numbercruncher. But, true to my word, I will unlock it, and we can start the process of building it. Alright, this land is basically forsaken over here, and I think... oh, okay, this thorn here is going to be a pain in the you-know-what. What if I did that? But I don't want to send anybody down here to actually build this. Gotta find a spot for this. This is not going to be really dumb. Okay, well, right here, Remember, it absolutely must be connected to power. I don't want to have to move this later, so I really got to be careful. Right now, this is pretty useless land over here. It's not going to be hard for us to get power connected to it. Just have to be careful how I have this hooked up. Let's think critically about this. I think I'm just going to do this, because this will transfer power. That should be fine. Okay, it is now past the end of the day. I'm going to turn both of these back on. I'm going to pause these 3 pumps because we want to keep this as much as we can here for irrigation purposes. We are pretty full on berry storage. This is going to explode in 3.3 days. This is going to activate in 0.3 days, and the drought's going to happen in 0.3 days. So, now is when we are going to have to do our end of episode stuff. Maybe a little shorter than you'd prefer. I know people like the longer episodes, but this is a good stopping point. And I always appreciate you guys supporting the videos. Leaving your honest feedback is always helpful. I think this playthrough's gotten a lot going for it, better than it had the first couple episodes. I will very, very willingly admit that those maybe weren't the best. But I feel pretty good about where we are now. And it's thanks to your support and, of course, the folks like the Beard Boosters who subsidize the channel so I don't have to do the algorithm chasing. We can just, deep dive into a series and commit to the long haul, if the beavers survive that long, that is, and just do what we want to do and not have to worry quite so much about how everything else is. So I really appreciate those folks. But, it's about that time. We've got just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of time. And now it is the drought starting. 15 days, that has detonated, but we were prepared. This is activated, but now it's a drought, so nothing happens. If we hit pause, we will note that the water level is basically as full as it possibly can be. That doesn't have to be paused anymore. It doesn't have to be paused anymore. This is going to dry out, but it doesn't matter. We got 15 days, which is a good compromise, I think, between, length to hopefully accomplish some stuff up here with regard to reclaiming space and also not having to worry quite so much about, the water's all going to disappear. We got almost 1,000 water stored up. We got 42 beavers. We do need some more housing. We can fix that next time. Got an unstable core in 54 days. That's one we already knew about. Bad tide drain in 7 days is a new one, and that is in our, I think, yeah, that's in our area of concern, because that is pretty close to where this chasm is going to open up here. Or not open up, it's just going to flood. So we cannot forget that this needs to be taken care of. Before we say goodbye, I just really want to make sure that there's nowhere else this can spill. It looks like it's fine. Oh, this is that's going to be a fun thing. What's that going to open up? Okay, that's just going to connect here, which is going to bring more bad water in, I'm assuming, when this eventually that one is just going to open up to the bottom there, which I'm assuming is a bad thing. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff down here. I know we already said goodbye, so I need to end this, but that's where we're going to leave it. And I'm going to leave this paused because there's a lot of stuff I want to do at the start of the next episode, and I think we're going to need to have another lengthy look around the map to try and strategize, plot things out. Because we got 15 days, which is plenty of time, but it's really not that much time. So whatever it is you're doing, stay safe, have fun. We'll see you again soon for the next installment of this painful beaver playthrough. Take care. Bye-bye.